Morenike left the massage parlor in smiles. She had just received the best body massage ever and was blushing like a little girl in love because the masseuse had asked for her number, which she had no problem giving. He was a very handsome gentleman, dark and tall, just how she liked her men. As she got into her luxurious Benz, she signaled her chauffeur to drive on, and then she reminisced on his hands, gently rubbing on her brown-skinned body, and bit her lips, trying to get a hold of herself. Morenike reminded herself that she was a responsible wife and mother. How on earth can she be love-struck by a common body masseuse? She thought hard. And then she prayed in her mind for Jesus to help her overcome this temptation because she was surely going to fall. She was abruptly brought back to life by the hands from the car, and as she looked up, they were already home. The gatekeeper opened up the gate, revealing a very beautiful white mansion. There were lots of flowers around the compound, as well as a waterfall right at the middle. The house was a complete masterpiece. She was married to an oil mogul, Chief Damina of the Damina Empire. It was evident she married him for his money because he was way older than her. Her status changed from a common sales girl at a grocery store to one who now commanded lots of businesses around the country. Life was really beautiful for her, and she was living it to the fullest. She went to her kids' bedroom. Her nanny, Kate, had them in her arms, trying to rock them to sleep. They were twin girls, Sky and Star, and were only 4 months old. She placed a kiss on their foreheads and headed straight to her bedroom, and then into the bathroom to have a long shower to wash off all the oil on her body. As she got out of the bathroom, her phone rang. She quickly picked it up and rolled her eyes at the caller. It wasn't the call she had been expecting. It was her husband calling. He called to let her know he arrived Singapore safe, and then he asked if she had received the money he sent her, which she acknowledged. Before she could say thank you, the line went off. He had to quickly attend to some of his foreign clients. She sighed loudly and proceeded to apply lotion on her tender skin. It was always too busy for her, but she did not care. So long as she kept getting fat paychecks, that was all that she cared about. She got a notification on her phone for a party she was already running late for. And then she quickly put on a beautiful red dress she had gotten from one of her trips to Dubai and applied makeup to her perfectly beautiful face and headed for her car. As she was about to go in, she heard a tear. It was her gown. That got her really mad that she decided she was going to hit the gym as soon as she returned from the party. She was gaining some weight. No wonder the gown hugged her skin tightly. She quickly changed into a black dress and zoomed off. At the party, she had so much fun. Motherhood had done quite a number on her. It was evident. She did not realize how much fun she had been missing, and so she threw caution to the wind and partied like it was her last. She excused herself from her friends and went to get some more drinks. Then she met him again. He was bartending at the party. She stylishly asked why he did not bother to call her after asking for her number, and he explained he had been so busy. When she wasn't looking, he laced her glass with an aphrodisiac and handed it over to her. An unsuspecting Morenike gulped it down her throat at once. Then he took her to the dance floor and they both danced like there was no tomorrow. Thereafter, he took her by the hands into the dark. One of her friends protested to her going away with him, but Morenike made it clear to her that she was an adult and would not be babied about, and so her friend let her be. What was the worst thing that could happen, she thought. The next morning, she woke up with a hangover and discovered she was unclad. She had on a white shirt, but was unclad underneath. She had no memory of what had happened to her. As she sat on the bed, she tried to recall what had happened the night before, but her head was as blank as an empty vessel. She stood up, got dressed, and left the hotel to her home. She had to quickly put herself in order as her husband would be home in some hours. She went to the kitchen and prepared his meal. Even though she was too tired to cook, she had no choice because her husband only ate what she prepared. When the doorbell rang, she quickly opened it up and hugged him tightly. She did not realize how much she had missed him. Then they both had lunch together. A week later, she was on her phone purchasing some expensive wigs online, while her husband was in the living room watching a football match. She received a link by an unsaved number and immediately clicked on it. It was a video recording of her and the masseuse in bed having fun the night before. She jolted up from her bed with tons and tons of mixed emotions. While she was still processing what she had just watched, her phone rang. The caller threatened to release the video online if she doesn't cooperate. The line went off and then a message popped up on her phone screen. It was a bank account number and details. She was told to pay in the sum of 10 million naira in the next 24 hours or a video would be released on the internet. Her world came crumbling right before her very eyes. She immediately became so hot and was sweating under the air conditioner. She removed her wigs and held it in her hands. She tried to scream, but she dared not, or it would attract her husband's attention. How could she have been so careless and stupid? She quickly put herself together and changed into something else. And then she went downstairs to her husband and told him she was going to the nail studio to have her nails and lashes done. But instead, she went to the bank and paid in the money. Of course, as usual, the blackmailers did not stop there. They kept on making huge demands from her, and she had no choice but to comply. She picked up her phone one day and asked her friend who had invited her to that party she attended if she knew the bartender. But the problem was she did not even know his name, so it was difficult to even find him. Amanda screamed for joy when she received the 2K alert she got from her elder sister. She decided not to use the POS opposite her house, as the 100 naira charge would be enough to buy pepper for a concussion rice. The sun was scorching, but she paid it no mind and trekked under it to Bank Road. When she got there, she was surprised at how quiet the road was. It was usually busy with people coming and going, as well as people selling edibles along the junction. Everywhere seemed odd. She also noticed there were policemen doing a stop and search at the junction. This is new, she thought to herself. Morenike was surprised there were policemen doing a stop and start. She had just withdrawn 100 million naira from her bank to give to her blackmailers. She was in a hurry and did not want anything that would make her late to where she was asked to drop the money. Her twin girls were at the back seat because her nanny called in sick, so she had no choice but to take them along. When it got to her turn, she went down and wanted to give them money for bribe so they can let her go quickly. But it was as though they had been waiting for her. The leader gave a nod, indicating she was the one. Then they brought out their guns and fired aimlessly at her. At the sound of gunshots, people who were at the scene fled for their lives. Cars behind hers made U-turns and zoomed off. But Amanda, who was a YouTuber, quickly hid at a corner where she was unseen and went live on YouTube. Comments started flooding in. Some told her to zoom in closer to their faces, while some asked her to be careful. As if following instructions, they opened up her boots and took out the bag containing the money. As if that wasn't enough, to get rid of evidence, they set the car ablaze. Morenike and her twin girls were burnt without recognition. Then they got in their cars and zoomed off. When the blackmailers waited and did not see Morenike or the money, they thought she had played a fast one on them, and so they leaked her video online. Chief Damina saw the videos and was very angry and disappointed. Balls of hot tears dropped from his eyes. His phones rang incessantly, calls from families and business partners. He took out his phone to call her, but it was switched off. It was about calling his lawyer to prepare a divorce letter when two policemen came to his house to inform him of the tragic incident. He wept uncontrollably like a child. He wailed for his beautiful daughters and the thought of how gruesomely they were murdered. He immediately called his friends who were in the special forces to fish out the people who killed his family. He sent the link to them, and before long, the blackmailers were identified and arrested. Chief Damina was shocked to find out that his kid's nanny was the one behind the family's death. But she claimed she did not kill them. She and her boyfriend Alex only blackmailed her to extort money from her. On the day the incident happened, they were both planning on traveling abroad with the money, but they never received it from her. They were tortured mercilessly, but they still claimed they had no hand in their deaths. Then, the video of the murder was all over the internet. The culprits were identified immediately and declared wanted, with a huge bounty on their heads. Suma ran home from work. He had just seen the news on his phone while at work. As he got home, he told his wife to hurriedly pick up the children from school. She asked why, but he screamed at her. She immediately obeyed and went to the kids' schools to pick them up. As they returned, he had packed a few things they had been needing, and they got into the car. The criminals responsible for the murder at Bank Road were all in panic. They packed the money they got from the job and tried to flee the country. When they got to the border, they saw some policemen at a checkpoint and quickly disguised themselves as mad people. There were 5 in number. The policemen didn't pay much attention to them as they let them pass. But on a second thought, madmen don't walk in groups. Then the policeman ordered them to stop, but they refused and started running. It was a hot cat and mouse chase, but the police caught up with them and apprehended them. They confessed to the crime and exposed Suma as their chief informant. Suma was working as a bank staff where Morenike banked with. He noticed she was always frequenting the bank and withdrawing huge amounts of money. So he informed his gangs and they disguised as policemen to rob her. As Suma was about leaving, the police caught up with him and he was arrested to the shock of his family. Amanda was compensated with a cash reward of 10 million naira by Chief Damina for being brave and helping his family get the justice they deserved. The end. Thank you for watching.